So, today we are going to talk about the psychology of love. The exploration of love is almost as ancient as human civilization. So, just telling that in 15 to 20 minutes, we are going to tackle love, it's one of the greatest hubris. However, I would like to humbly draw a tiny arc covering some of the facets of love, and mainly from the perspective of mythology, psychology, and philosophy. So when so when I think about love, the first thing that comes to my mind is stories. The stories about love. The stories which connect us to the notion of love. The longingness, the grief, the sadness, the separation, the surrender, the devotion, and sometimes even the annihilation just takes us to this roller coaster of emotions. And through this roller coaster of emotions, we understand what love could be. These emotions are part of our psyches and literature across cultures since ages. If we go to the ancient Greek, Orpheus, the legendary musician, he went to the underworld to save or re-enliven his dead bride, Eurydice. However, he failed at the task given by the god of underworld, Hades, and he returned empty-handed back to the earth. Disappointed, dejected, he started writing or composing the songs of love and loss. It has been said that the birds and the rivers listen to those songs and learn them, and they still recite it even today. If you go to another time, another form, Rumi met Shams in 13th century Persia and instantly developed a very deep friendship. They used to stare at each other for hours and even for months, basically to search for the words which are worth enough to speak, which can befit the value they see in each other. The unexpected leaving of Shams and the associated love and the grief, the longing, made Rumi the poet of love, who is still revered even today. In 16th century India, a married woman called Meera fell in love with the god Krishna. A threat to the society and the social norms, she was thrown out of his home, her town, and even the plots were designed to kill her. She, on the other hand, has only one purpose: to sing the hymns to her lover, to Krishna. She became the embodiedness of the devotion movement in India, and later on in Indian tradition, she is now accepted as a true lover of Krishna. What do these stories tell us? What do they want to tell us? How can we connect to something stupid called love? I think this has been a fascination for a lot of psychologists and philosophers since ages. If we start with Freud, a 19th century Austrian philosopher, he said that the fundamental structure of human psyche has two forces, Eros and Thanatos. Eros, which is love impulse, and Thanatos, which is death instinct. The Eros, the love impulse for him, was a manifestation of the sexual drive. And for him, this sexual impulse or sexual drive basically comes as a tension, as a physiological tension which craves to be released. Jung, a late 19th century Swiss philosopher and a student of Freud, contradicted him. And he said the fundamental drive is not sex drive. However, it is a much more complicated libido or psychic energy. And love or sex, basically sex, is one of the form of manifestations of this psychic energy. Eric Fromm, an early 20th century philosopher, he contradicted both Jung and Freud. And he said the fundamental need of humankind is to be united. And this need to be united is indeed fundamental in the nature, even at the material level. Protons and electrons combine together to form atoms. That's union. At the human level, this union comes in the form of love. If love is such a fundamental force of universe, then why we have problems of love in the current society? Dr. Haridas Chaudhary, an Indian philosopher, he said that we're basically having three major problems of love. The first, what he called as the reversal of values. If we look into the current industrialized society, we have moved towards the values which are more glamorous, which move towards power, prestige, money. The value of love in the human relation is somehow even become a subordinate. Even talking about love in today's circumstances, in a business world, or wherever we go, is considered to be a hippie. The second problem of love, he said, is about the marketing, what he called marketing orientation. In this world where almost everything is up for sale, the human relations have also become a commodity. The commodity which needs to be attractive, a commodity which must have a high exchange value. The object of love needs to be good as a marketable object. And the third problem of love is the paradox of individuation. As we have become more and more aware of our individual needs as separate beings, we even feel even more lonely and anxious for the unitive impulse. And with that, our need for love even become greater, whereas the individuation calls us, demands us to be free. So, how can we balance freedom and love? How can we connect to love in this prestige driven industrialized society? Rumi said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but to find the barriers inside yourself which you have built against it." Eric Fromm, also in his classic book, The Art of Loving, said that it's not about outer view, outside seeking, but we need to develop capacities to love. Love is a creative art which needs to be cultivated. Any loving relationship has two poles: lover and the beloved. Dr. Chaudhary said that love is the most mature form of a polarized union. A polarized union is a union where each pole is independent and free, while the joy and creativity and the relationship between them flows in between the poles. This polarized union of balancing freedom and love is full of trials and tribulations, and it's a journey of our own self-awareness. Another form love comes to us is as parents. From the unconditional love of a mother, the child learns to receive love as a grace. And from the conditional love of a father, the child conducts or do actions which demands appreciation and reward. In this generalized sense, both the unconditioning and conditioning are required to prepare a child to choose the virtues which they want to cultivate independent of societal dispositions. And as we seek the new virtues of higher pursuit, love comes to us in the form of humanistic love. The love beyond us, beyond our relationships, the love for other humans, love for the world, love for animals, and far beyond we could be aware of. And when we connect to this love, we connect to the sense of organic interdependence of everything. The origin of the English word love, it basically lies in the Germanic forms of Sanskrit word lubh, meaning desire, which has been explained and to a certain extent resolved by Greeks. Yet they don't have only one word for love. If you find the Greek word for love, there's not one word, but there are multiple words for love. The words like Eros for desire and passion, Philia for loyalty and friendship, and agape for universal compassion. All these forms of love, however, start with the basic form, which is self love. This is not a self obsession but a self compassion. It's a fountain where even when we find out that we have no more capacity to love, we can go and recharge ourselves. Even in the cosmos, the creative power of the cosmos is dependent upon love for all its creation and preservation. What if the earth is not attracted towards sun? What if the bees does not come to the flowers? What if the apples does not fall to the ground? It is the gravity of love that sustains us. So we can end as Ella Fitzgerald said or sang, bees do it. Even educated fleas do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Thank you.